So yesterday what we did, primarily we discussed about, just we gone through the comparison between EBS and Fusion. So we discussed about in EBS we discussed about menu, submenu functions, responsibilities, and the responsibility, primary ledger and the OU mapping with the responsibility, and assigning responsibility user. The same process how can be handled in the Fusion we discussed. And other point is the type of roles in Fusion. So basically we have four type of roles. We discussed detail level what exactly how that can be related to EBS, comparison. Okay, how. Third point is users. Okay, we discussed about the difference or the comparison between the EBS user and the Fusion users. And in yesterday's session itself, we created user also. So which user we created? We created implementation user. Sorry. Okay. So in the yesterday's session, we created implementation user. So implementation user has required roles to work as an implementation user. We created a user called as implementation user. Okay. With where we created user from IDM. That means we are creating the implementation user. The user has required roles to act as an implementation consultant. Okay. For that we assign these three roles: application implementation consultant, IT security manager, and system administrator. These three roles we assign to the user called as Kalyan. We created a user called as Kalyan. Okay. Now just we log into the application with the same user. Okay, this is some other session related stuff. Sorry, just I forgot to close this other stuff. Okay, fine. Just let's log in as a implementation user. Name is Kalyan. Just provide password. Okay. Okay. Now, if you want to do any setups, system related setups, and we require one application called as functional setup manager, FSM. In EBS, if you want to start working with the system implementation, what we do, we'll create the responsibilities and we'll associate all the response to the users, and then we'll start creating the primary ledger and everything. Then we'll work on respect to application related setups, module specific setups. But to complete any application related setups in Fusion, we have a application called as functional setup manager. From the single application you can complete all the application related setups. Before we get into this application related setups and all, let's try to understand the terminology which will come across in the functional setup manager. So in a EBS, we have a solutions for financials. Okay, we have a different the product families. We have one family name is financials, other one is a SCM, the other one is project suite and CRM and manufacturing. This is how we have a some group of applications we are calling as respective product family. And these product families, whatever we have in EBS, in Fusion we call as a offerings. Financials we call as offering. SCM we call as offering. So projects we call as offering. CRM we call as offering. Okay. In EBS we call as financials, SCM, project, suite and CRM. This group of applications coming to Fusion, the naming convention they given as an offering. Okay. Now these four are we call as four offerings. And within finance, if you take example of finance, within financials we have a different applications are called as modules. We have applications called as general ledger and accounts payable, accounts receivable, cash management and fixed assets. These are the key applications which will be part of finance. So here this group of applications we are calling as offerings. So the financial offering can have these applications, right? But these applications basically in ABS, whatever we are calling as application, in Fusion will be calling as a options. This is one option. This is another option. This is five, we call as a five different options. Done. So say option. Okay. So in Fusion we have a different offering. Every offering will consist of one or multiple options. Those are nothing but modules. And within the offering, okay, sorry, within the options, if you take example of accounts payable option, okay, within that option we'll be having the what will be having here as per EBS, we will be just what we call there will be calling as a kind of futures or functions. In Fusion also will be calling as a futures only. To simplify, in Fusion we have offerings. Within the offerings we'll have a options. Within the options we'll have a futures. Okay, that's all. The offering examples are, it can be finance or a CM or procurement or projects or anything. When you say options, these are nothing but modules. It can be GL, AP or any other application. When you say futures, in specific product, specific option, what are the different features we have, those all comes under futures. This is what we have to understand, the terminology which we use in the functional setup manager. Okay, so FSM, this is a place where we do the setups and all. So to start with the setups, what we have to do is first we have to understand what is the scope of the project. What is the scope of the project? In the system environment, we'll be having all these options. Say for example, the scope is we want to implement financials and procurement. In that case, what we have to do is within the instance, we'll have all the offerings which are released by Oracle. So out of all the offerings, first we have to enable which offerings we want to use. It's simple as to create the primary ledger, we have to enable the currency. We'll enable the currency, then we can start using that currency in the primary ledger definition. If you don't enable the currency while you are creating the primary ledger, you cannot select that whatever the currency you require. In the same way, which offerings or you have in the scope of your project, those all offerings we have to enable. And within this offering, what options you have in the scope, again those we have to select. And again within the options you can select features, which features we are going to implement. Say we want to implement financials, so we have to enable financial offering. Within the finance, say we want to implement only GL APR, so these three we have to select as a three options. Say in accounts payables, I don't want to implement expense reporting process. In that case, that feature we are not going to, we won't enable at all. So this is how to start with implementation. We have to select which offerings are in the scope, which offerings we are going to implement. Within the specific offering, which options we are going to implement. Within the options, which features we are going to implement. We have to select, then we can start with the implementation process. Okay, so here when you talk about functional setup manager, what we do is whatever the offerings or options you are going to implement, you have to create the project in the system first. You have to create the project. Before that, what is, when you talk about process in the functional setup manager, we'll talk about functional.
Yeah, Lakshman.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Lakshman. Sorry to trouble you. This is Shivkumar.
Yes, sure, Kumar.
Is there any problem with your internet connection? I think we are getting. Yeah, is there any problem with your internet? I think we are facing some breakups in your voice.
Oh, not sure. Just let me just reset this 1 second. Yeah, Shivkumar, can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, it's pretty much fine now. Please carry on. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Fine. Now we'll talk about what process we have to follow when we are going to do the system configuration through functional setup manager. The first point is we have to enable the offerings. Okay, we have to enable the offerings. First we'll enable offerings. While we are enabling within the offerings, we can select which options also we require. After enabling the offerings, then we can create the implementation project. Create implementation project. First we'll enable the offerings, then we'll create the implementation project. After creating the implementation project, from enabled offerings, we'll select whatever the offerings we are going to take into implementation as a scope. Say select offerings for project. What are the implementation project you are creating? Select offering for the project. Once you're done with that, assign task to team members. Then if you are going to just look after the project and all, you can monitor the status of the project. We can assign the particular task. Say for example, in payables, if there are 20 tasks need to be completed to implement payables, you may assign 20 tasks to one team member, or else the 20 tasks you can distribute across the team members. So that's how you can assign the task to respective team members. Here task is nothing but specific definition. Okay, task is nothing but specific definition. And before that, let me add one more point here. So process wise, once you select offerings for the project, automatically system will create the task list. Then system creates task list based on what are the offerings you selected for the project. Those tasks we have to assign to user. So assign tasks to team members. Once we assign the task to team members, the team members will start working on the configuration that we call as system configuration. Okay, so the who is acting as a project manager or who is looking after the project, then they'll start monitoring and controlling the project. We can start monitoring the project, and we can control the project related task. Means for which consultant should work on which task. Accordingly, we'll be giving the permissions. We'll be assigning the relevant task to them. So this is a process we have to follow from functional setup manager application. This is the process. First, what we'll do, what are the offerings we have in the scope, those we have to enable. Then we'll create the project, and the required offerings will be selecting for the project. By selecting the offerings, once you complete the project creation, system will create task list based on the offerings whatever you selected. System will create the task list is nothing but, say for example, you selected offering called as finance. Within the finance, you selected option called as payables. To complete the payable setups, okay, to complete the payable setups, what are the tasks we require? What are the permissions we require? All system will create as a different task. The tasks only we call as a list of tasks or task list we are calling. Then which task need to be completed by which team member? You can assign the task or list of tasks to the specific team member, or else total offering you can assign to the team member, or else the total option you can assign, or else specific features or which you call as a tasks you can assign to team member. Once we assign to team member, the team members will start working on the configuration that we are calling as system configuration. Then you can monitor the project and what is the status, how many tasks are completed, what is the total progress of task. Everything will be able to see in the functional setup manager. Once team member, so say for example you assign some task to one team member, then team member can set the status saying that the task is not yet completed, or it's a work, it's under process, or task is completed. This kind of status also team member can update against the task which the team member is responsible. So this is what we are going to do from function setup manager. On these few points, if you have any queries, please raise the question. Any questions?
Hi, this is Madhukar.
Yeah, Madhukar.
After enabling the offerings, is the options are created automatically, or we need to assign the options to them, to the individual users?
No. That part is totally different. Once we
Okay.
complete the implementation, then we'll come to that point, assigning to users and all. Once we enable the
No, I
offer,
mean to say options. I'm asking options.
when first say for example you will enable one offering. When you enable the
Okay. Yeah.
offering, within the offering what are the options we have, system will identify. When we are assigning that option to the specific project, there you have to select which options require for the implementation project.
Okay. Is that? I mean, that step will be done after enabling the offerings. Is that's my question actually.
Yes, after enabling offerings only, yes, we'll do that.
Okay. And I mean, that has been not mentioned over there, so I'm asking.
Okay, so see, already we discussed offering consists of options.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Fine. Yeah. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, fine. Any other questions?
Lakshmana, Kiran here.
Yeah, Kiran.
So what I understand is, so basically we are enabling the offerings like financial and SCM, and if suppose there are two consultants which is working on financial, one of the consultant and other consultant is working SCM. So based on that, we will enable those offerings to those implementation users.
Yes, whatever we are implementing will enable first. How many consultants are working doesn't matter. First, which offerings you are going to implement, those will be selecting. Okay, you may not assign these offerings to specific team member also, but still you can work on the system. It doesn't matter how many team members are working. Here matter which offerings we are going to implement.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Lakshman, one question here.
Yeah, please.
Let us say a company wants to implement three offerings. One is financial,
Okay.
second one is SCM, third one is HCM.
Okay.
But they want to do only the financials first. Next year they want to do the SCM. Then after that they want to do something else. So
Okay.
in that case, should we enable all the three options? That is HCM, financials, and SCM.
Okay. They have a plan. They have a plan of implementing these three solutions, three offerings, but not now, as per your statement.
Correct.
Okay, right. At present, what you are going to implement, you can enable that offering, then you can create the implementation project, you can do it. In future, say for example, after 1 year, they want to just opt the solution called as SCM. At that point of time, you can enable and you can create one more project.
Okay.
Or else what we can do is, if that the implementation, if they are going with some phase by phase, first finance, then HCM, then projects and all, if you that is a known information, that is a plan from the company, just you can enable three offerings. The three offerings you can create implementation project, but finally will be implementing only finance. The rest of options will be part of that project only. Whenever you want to take it up, then you can start implementing those relevant those two other solutions. We have two options, two ways we can
Okay.
do it.
Okay. So another question. Let us say that we are doing only one offering, that is called financials.
Okay.
So can we create any number of projects, or only one project need to be created?
N number of projects.
A number of projects.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. What is the criteria for creating a project? How are we going to logically grow?
See, nothing. It's just identification, and for the process of tracking the status, how much task is completed against the offering related configuration. Criteria and nothing. Just it's all about giving
Like,
the name. Just will be given the
name.
title. Under title, the offerings will be maintained. For each offering, the status will be just maintained. Finally, from the offerings within the task or options or features, what are the status is updated, that finally it will roll up to project level, so that you can see what is the progress of the project, how much percentage of the project is completed, and everything will be able to just have an idea.
Okay. So generally, what is the best practice? Should we create one project per offering, or should we do that? Only the integration is one project, configuration is another project.
No.
Something like.
So for everything, it's best practice is one project will be created.
Oh,
Otherwise, what happens is you have to switch from one to one. How will be switching in the EBS one to other responsibility?
okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Lakshman, Shiva here.
Sure.
Yeah, I have a small question. So you said that assign tasks to team members, right?
Assign tasks to team members. Correct.
Yeah. Is it task and features are same? Is that you are saying?
Yeah. See, task and features are same means future more it talks about business process. Okay. Task talks about setup to support that future. To support one future, there could be 10 tasks or 2 tasks or 3 tasks.
Okay, you mean to say maybe one feature contains multiple tasks?
Yeah, exactly. I think you have a
Correct?
EBS background, I guess. Do you have EBS background?
Sorry, unfortunately, no.
Okay, fine. So in that, if you have, I
Yeah,
can take some
you
simple
mean to say
example.
that features to tasks. Yeah, one feature may have multiple tasks, right?
One future, yes. To support one future, you can have one or more than one task.
Yeah, something. Let's say I'm trying to understand the
Yeah.
hierarchy. It will start from offering, and offering may have multiple options or modules.
Yes.
Then each option may have multiple features, and each feature to support it may have multiple tasks. Correct?
So, yes, to support
Is
one
my
task.
understanding right?
Correct. See here, offerings, within the offering will have options. Within the options, whatever we have, will have a features. Why we are calling as features? Actually, those are nothing but tasks. The task will be supporting the features. That's the reason task itself we are calling as feature.
Okay, so there's no difference between this task and feature, more or less like a interchangeable words, right?
Yes, that's all.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thought here. So task is something like if you are familiar with project management.
Yeah.
In the project
Imagine.
management, whenever
Yeah.
you have done, you're creating all the milestones and the tasks we have below that, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that is the task is different.
Yeah. Yeah. Their task is nothing but say creating on deliverable is nothing but one task. Creating forecasting budget is one task.
Okay.
That's it.
Correct, correct.
That's
Okay.
all.
Fine. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other queries? Fine.
Yeah, hi Lakshman, it is this side.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, system creates tasks automatically. Who will create the task?
Yeah, system will create task automatically based on the offerings and options you selected.
Okay, you mean to say all the responsibilities and all the setup?
Yeah. Simple example I'll take. Say I'll be select enabling on offering called as financials.
Okay.
In financials, I'm going to select option called as payables. To complete the payables configuration, which setups we have to do, for each setup system will create one task automatically.
Uh,
Okay, in the offering called as financials, we will be having we have multiple options. Within that option, I selected from financials only one option called as payables. To complete the payable setups, okay, to complete the payable setups, what activities you have to do, all the activities you can find in terms of tasks. Okay,
Lakshman,
yeah,
yeah,
a
okay.
question. So it will create both required task and optional task as well?
yeah, everything it will create, mandatory and optional, everything it will create. If you take simple example, if you are going to work on finance payables in EBS, you have to configure the financial options, right? Payable
Yep,
options, payment
yep,
terms, distribution sets. I'm talking about four setups. The four
yep,
setups
yep,
system will create as a four tasks. When you talk about
yep,
distribution set, it's not mandatory; it's optional. User can enter the manual distribution also, right? But still, it will create all
yep.
mandatory and optional setup related tasks will be created by system automatically.
So basically it will create all the possible setups for tasks
Yeah.
automatically.
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We'll see. Anyway, now we are going to do it. It will be very more clear to us. Okay. Just before we get into the application, just I want to give you the overview what we are going to do instead of discussing when we are doing that. Fine. Okay. Any other queries? Okay. Fine. If no, then we'll start doing these activities. First task what we have to do in fresh instance, okay, no offerings you can see as already enabled, but this is instance which we are using for different batches. For practice purpose already we enabled, but from where we have to enable and all I'll be showing. So in the last session we have seen how to create the user, how to assign the roles. Okay, so once you're done with that you can log into the user, then just click on user, then just click on task called as setup and maintenance, or else call it as hyperlink. Click on setup and maintenance hyperlink. Fine. Now this environment we call as functional setup manager, FSM. This environment we call as functional setup manager. Fine. So in this environment, what we have to do is, first we have to enable the offerings. See here, you have a different task list. You can click on this hyperlink called as this. Generally, that also you can call as task. Click on getting started. So here you can see the what would be the implementation process. When I talk about implement, just we know very well it's a complete almost same traditional implementation process only. First, what we'll do, we'll plan. We'll plan what is the scope of the project. Then we configure the offerings. Okay, we configure the offerings. We configure the offerings means if you are going to implement financial related setups, you will be doing that. We are calling as configuring offerings. So manage implementation project. You'll be just managing the implementation project and monitoring, controlling, and if any other integrations need to be done, everything will be doing here. Once that is done, normal in traditional implementation process, what we do, we'll be loading the data, transactional and master and transactional data. Here the same we can see as export and import. In Fusion environment, what are the setups you did in the system environment? Those you can export it to Excel also. Okay, and you can import setup data from Excel to system. So that is nothing but manage configuration packages. Okay, see a transaction means, okay, just user will start working on the system, and before that in this area you can take as a something testing and everything will be doing, finally maintain. So the once users start using, will be supporting for the user process if they are facing some issues. So this they are giving as implementation process. So once you click on this getting started, you can see the implementation process which will be following in the Fusion environment, and below whatever you see, those all are offerings. You can see here they're given all offerings. This we are calling as offerings. These are the different offerings Oracle is offering as a solutions. This is the financial offering, this is enterprise contracts, this is sales, and the different offerings we have, you can see here. And if you want to know which offering consists of which options and which features, just place cursor on the offering. It provides the description. So in this offering, see here, you can see the configuration description. Configure how you manage financial flows, including assets, ledgers, cash cycle, invoice and payment, account receivables, collections, and setup of subledger accounting and tax configuration. The financial offering consists of these options. Okay, these options we have within that. If you want to just see documentation point of view, just simply what you can do is just click on this offering. Instead of if you place the cursor, I think please unmute please mute yourself. I request everyone, please mute yourself. Fine. So here, if you want to know the description what we have within this offering, just you can place the cursor here. If you want to see that detailed information, simply just you can click on that offering. Just click on that offering. It will open some documents. These documents talks about what offering consists of, what tasks, what purpose will be doing the setup, and everything you can see. There are a lot of information you can. Offering content guide. This offering content guide talks about this offering is consist of what, and associated features within this offering. All the this offering will support for which features with respect to finance offering, and set up task list and tasks to work on those features. Which setup, which task we have, nothing but task list will consist of tasks only. Which task we have, the names they'll be listing out, the task name they'll be providing, and related business object. The task is belongs to what, there is system related some payables related configuration or receivables related configuration or asset related configuration that talks about that. I mean, this related business object talks about that task or the future is belongs to which area of the solution. And related enterprise applications, again the task is belongs to which applications. Even when you are working on finance also, there will be some tasks which will be supporting directly from HCM. There will be some tasks which will be supporting from procurement also. So with these documents we'll be able to look into that. See here, they provided different format of documents. Those content guide or associate features or task list, everything we have here, those you can download, available with the PDF and HTML and Excel formats. Just let me just download one Excel file format of offering content guide. This offering consists of which content and all, we can have a guided information here. Okay, unfortunately it's not downloading the Excel format. Let me try in the PDF. Yeah, this is the document. Oracle Fusion Application 11G Financial Offering Content Guide. Just you can look into that. This offering, financial offering, what it consists. So you can see all the information here. So option wise, option is nothing but module. Application wise, you can see it consists of, okay, what different features and everything will be described in this guide. Okay, almost we have 52 pages document this is. So just you can go through it. Just you can look into that. Just for information. Okay, just for information, it consists of what detail level. Apart from here, directly we can see from system also. Okay, instead of this documentation and all. Talks about what this offering consists of, what solution, which features, all we can see in this. The same way, associated features, which features are available within this offering. Just you can download this file and you can see that. So associated features. So legal, structure related, user related, enterprise related profiles, financial reporting, general ledger, some workforce, supplier invoicing process, suppliers, the payable configuration, payable transaction account rules, payments, cash management and bank accounts, transaction related tax, related tasks and futures, and expense related futures, corporate corp with expenses, imaging processing. These and all we have as a futures from this offering. Okay, so just you can go through it, just for there is nothing much to understand from that. For your information, you may just download and you can look into all these. Anyway, we'll come across all these when we are working. Okay, done. Just for this is for information. If you just click on getting started, you can understand what is the implementation process we are going to follow when we are implementing within the Fusion environment, and from Oracle what are the offerings are available. And if you want to know about any offering would consist of what, then just place the cursor, you can get the brief description. If you want to know the detailed information, just click on the offering, just hit on the offering, it will open this. Okay, documentation part, there you can download and you can see the relevant information related to offerings. Done. So then based on the scope, what we have to do, we have to enable the offerings. To enable the offerings, okay, that would be first step which we do in the system as a some configuration based activity. So here we have a task called as, or hyperlink called as, these are all you can call as task. Again, what activity you perform, that is to whatever it is supporting to do some activity, that we call as task. So here they given as a task. These all comes under tasks only. This task will help us to review the implementation process, to view the implementation process, and to know about the offerings. That's the reason this getting started we are calling as one task. The next task is configure offerings. Just click on this. It will list out what are the offerings are available from Oracle. So already earlier whatever we just opened, that system is just opening up here. So by default it will be this. Just let me minimize it. You see, these are the seeded offerings we have in this product. These are all are just expanded, and I'm just collapsing all those so that you can see. Done. So this list we call as different offerings. Okay. So we have a compensation management as an offering, customer data management is one offering, enterprise contracts is one offering, financials is one offering, Fusion Accounting Hub is separate offering, incentive compensation is an offering, marketing. So all different procurement, product management, all these we have as offerings. Okay, since we are already using this system, okay, and many people are practicing on that, already these are enabled. By default, these will be in the disabled mode. This is all you can find in the disabled mode. So all will be in the disabled. Okay, fine. Okay, because already by using this we implemented and all right. Now it is not just allowing for deselection. By default, all these will be enabled mode. Why the system allowed to disable this? Because by using this using this kind of option, nobody just created any implementation project and all. So these all will be by default disabled mode. Okay, by default disabled mode. So whatever the offerings you want to implement, those you have to enable. Just you have to understand the process. That's the reason I'm explaining this. Otherwise, now we are not doing anything in this page. Okay, which offerings you are going to implement, just enable those offerings. Okay, once after enabling those offerings, then say save and close. So once you select offering, system will open up all the options which are available. So directly you will be able to select those options also, but that will be anyway will be part of offering only. Done. Even if you see here, I say for example, I just enabled offering called as financials. Whenever I enable, system will expand these financials. Here I can select the options, but when I'm going to create the project, again I have to select. Okay, again I have to select financial as offering. For that project, which options we are going to use, again we have to select. Here to make it as available to create the project, when we are creating the project, again whatever the offerings and options are available from system source, those again you have to select for your project the offering as well as options. Okay, here just we are enabling, there we are selecting. That's all. Just click on save and close. So here you can see this is under process. It's taking too much time. Okay. I think still it will take some time. If in meantime, if you have any queries, you can ask me before system will just complete that action.
Uh,
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yeah.
These are the default offerings by the Oracle Fusion itself when you buy?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. In that case, if we take only one financials, all others, all other things are also available, or we'll get all the things?
You will get all the things, but for which product you are taking the license, you will be start using. Other things you can go and implement, but Oracle will never support. We know that, right? That's it. All will be getting. Even in EBS
Okay.
also will get all, right? Just all menus will be getting. You can implement any application. Finally, Oracle will give support for which product you take in the license, right? The same process.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So seems to it's not working. Just let me send. Okay. Then I hope you understood that point here. System is not moving to next step.
Yeah, Lakshman,
Yeah,
this is Shiva here.
yeah, sure.
Now I'm just asking. Meanwhile, so what is that? This accounting hub, financials accounting hub? Is it something else apart from financials?
Exactly. See, for example,
Okay.
within the financial application, what are the transaction will be processing? We can create accounting entries within the environment. They're given on concept called as SLA, subledger accounting. So that is one of the feature
Okay.
within the finance to create accounting entries for finance related applications. So if you have an environment where you will be receiving the financial transaction from the different sources. Okay, if you are maintaining the financial transaction different sources, by receiving the
Hmm.
transaction, by taking the financial transaction from different sources, if you want to just set up some rules to have some managerial reporting purpose, internal reporting purpose, or any other reporting aspects. Okay, you can take the transaction
Hmm.
from different sources. You can set up your own rules. Okay, based on the rules, accounting will be generated with the help of this Fusion Accounting Hub. It is a hub for multiple sources data to process and to create the accounting entries. Majorly, that can be used for managerial accounting reporting purpose. That is
So it's a
separate.
more or less like a reporting tool. You mean to say?
Reporting tool, yes, you can say reporting tool, but they're basically reporting related controls you can set up. It's kind of
Okay. So all
accounting
reporting
engine.
related controls, right?
Yeah, you can say this is a kind of accounting engine which will generate the accounting
Okay.
based on set of
The way,
rules.
however, you want to see the reports, we can do that
Ex-
modifications, whatever the way you want, right?
exactly, not from specific source, from
Thank.
multiple sources you can get
Fine.
the data
Fine. Fine.
to.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, fine. So
Thank you.
done. So when you talk about configuration, just now we discussed just configuration you can enable and you can save it. Okay, done. Once you enable and save it, then you can start creating the implementation project. To create implementation project, just click on this task called as manage implementation projects. Just click on manage implementation projects. See here, these all are existing projects which are created by the other people who are practicing in this instance from other batches. Okay, these all are already created projects. The same way we'll go and create our own project. Fine. Fine. Here we'll take just to create the implementation project. What we can do is just click on create. First, we have to click on this task. The task will open this section. Here you can see manage implementation projects. Just click on create. Okay. What name you want to give for this implementation project? Let's take the name as something. Okay, Tata implementation project, or else you are going to implement specific offering, you may write it as Tata financial implementation or procurement implementation. Now we are going to select finance and procurement and both options, so I'm not giving any specific name. So I'll say Tata implementation project. So the system by default is taking project as a one. I just remove that. Just tab out, the same will be defaulted as a code. An object type of implementation process, the code data implementation already exists. So somebody created the same name. I'll say TCS. Just tab out. It will take the same as a code and description also. Now this project will be handling. We can assign this project to that person. Generally, we'll be assigning this project to project manager and all. By default, from which user we are creating the project, system will take that user as a assignment. That means this project is going to be assigned to employee called as, the user called as Kalyan. Or else if you want to assign this project to any other user or employee in the organization, what you can do is just click on this drop down option and click on search. Okay, fine. Then here you can give that name here and just you can click on search. Okay, since I didn't give anything, just I'll give the name as something. We have other user called as winners. Click on that. So it is displaying. Okay, now I can assign this project to winners, employer, just user. Just I can select, say okay, done. This project is assigned to this user or this employee. It can be user or just user, or it can be user and employee. You can assign here. You can give just starting date and tentative finish date for this project. Whatever as per project plan, whatever you have the schedules in the scope and all accordingly start date and the tentative finish date you can provide. After giving this, anyway, here I'm going to just assign this project to same just user Kalyan only. Just give the username and select and say OK. Now this project is assigned to this user. Now what we can do is click on next. Now this just we created project. For this project, what we have to select the offerings. We have to select the offerings and options and features. So for that purpose, after giving that information, just click on next. So what are the offerings are already enabled? Those are all you can see here. These are the offerings already enabled in this task level. Already we verified that. Okay. Now we want to implement only financials. Say for example, financials here. Just enable financial offering. Once you enable, within that, what are the different options we have, it will display. When you say supplier invoicing process, is nothing but payables. I want to implement payables. When you select expense, it's nothing but I expense. Here fixed assets, Oracle assets. Customer invoicing process is nothing but, okay, customer invoicing process is nothing but it is receivables process and collections. Okay, and select collections. This is one of the option. Again within that say intercompany process and whatever we have, just I'm selecting. And financial business intelligence analysis to support the financial related reporting and all. So you can use this. Okay, within that we have a different sub options. You may treat as a futures. Just you can enable that. Done. And if you are going to implement other offering called as Fusion Accounting Hub, that also just you can mark it. Within that, what are the sub parts which we have, which we call as options. Those also which options within under that offering you are going to implement, you can select. And let's select procurement also for our implementation. Just select procurement. Within that options, what are the options we have, we can see here. Okay, self-service procurement, nothing but iProcurement. Supplier portal, iSupplier. Sourcing application means sourcing option, and procurement contracts. And again here also we have a supplier invoicing process. Already we have in payables also, but so supplier to support that integration point of view, you can select it. And the relevant whatever we have as a sub, those also we can select. Okay, so we created project. Okay, we are creating the project. While we are, what is the project name? TCS implementation project. As a TCS implementation project, which offerings and which options are going to be in the scope, those we are enabling for this project. Once we enable, that means we are selecting for this project. After selecting, say, click on save and open project. After selecting offerings options, just click on save and open project. Once you click on save and open project, what system will do is, if you say here supplier invoicing process is nothing but payables. So to configure the payables application, whatever the tasks we require, all the tasks system will generate. That means Oracle already did the mapping. If any user is going to select this option for implementation, which setups need to be completed, those can be mandatory or optional setups. All the setups they are going to generate as a different tasks based on selected options. System will generate the tasks. So here you can see few options here. To support each and every option, what are the setups we have to do, all system is going to generate now. Just click on save and open project. You can see system created task list, and within the task list respective tasks. Just click on this, hit this save and open project.
Lakshman, one quick question.
Yeah.
So just what is going to happen if we just select the offerings and do not select any of the options below that? Is it going to consider?
Nothing. It is not going to consider anything,
Okay.
because you know we can have a specific futures under a particular option only, not at the level of offering.
Okay.
Yeah. See, now you can see system created project. What are the naming convention we given? TCS implementation project, and we selected three offerings: procurement, financials, okay, fusion accounting hub. Now you can see for financial, what are the options we selected to support that option related configuration, system created tasks. If you want to see that, just expand this financial, just click on this arrow option. See, these all, whatever you can see, these all we call as task lists. Say here we have a task list called as define common application configuration for financials. If I click on that, again it will consist of other subtask list. And again just I can click on that here, create define primary ledger. And again within that I have a some task list called as define accounting configuration. So these we call as tasks. Manage primary ledger means create primary ledger, assign legal entities another task, specify ledger options, and assign balance and segment values to legal entities, assign balance and segment values to ledger, okay, and define secondary ledger. Again to define secondary ledger we'll be having the different tasks. If you just click on this, again it will show. These all are tasks. Okay, that means task, how I am calling, if I just click on this, it will take us to some window where we can create the primary ledger. In EBS environment also, we have a submenu. So when you click on submenu, that may open other submenus. Finally, once you click on particular function, function will open the form. In the same way here, task will open the some form here. I mean, it's not form, some kind of a screen environment where you can do the particular configuration setup. Okay, so now you can see the tasks, what task system created. The same way you can see for every application. So here,
But these tasks are not in the sequential fashion, is it?
tasks are not in sequence, not tasks all tasks are in the sequential manner in terms of implementation process. If you are going to do the implementation, what sequence you have to follow to do the setup, in the same sequence they given almost all.
Okay, what I mean to say is we selected three offerings:
Yeah,
procurement, finance, and accounting hub.
yeah.
Now, which is the very first task that we are going to do? Or how can I know that?
No,
The very first.
that we should know. First of all, first of all we should know system is not going to guide you in all the ways. You have to implement procurement and finance and accounting hub, to from where you have to start. We should know the dependency. So financials definitely will depend on procurement, and the financial accounting hub will depend on financials. So that dependency we should know from where we have to start. You should know, when you know from where you have to start, from there what is the sequence you have to follow, system will guide you.
Oh,
Yeah. So this is how you can see all the task list. This you can see call as tasks, and as these all you can call as task list. This task list will consist of tasks. If I click on define enterprise structure for financials, this I call as task list. This will open again subtask list. Okay, here again I am clicking on define enterprise for financials. Just I'll click on this. Okay, here what these two we call as the tasks. Okay, again here say define financial reporting structure. It's related to chart of accounts. So here within that what we have, other task list called as define chart of accounts. To define the chart of accounts, what activities we have to do, all they given as a different tasks. We know when to create the chart of accounts we require value sets, we require account chart of account structure, then we have to create the value set values, and what is the accounting account structure instance and all we'll discuss. This is somewhat the new point we have to understand. Okay, these and all we call as a tasks under this task list called as define chart of accounts task list. This task list is under Which task list? Define financial reporting structures task list. Finally, we'll be working on particular task only. If you want to do any setup in the system, we require only task, not any task list and all. Anyway, task list just to group and maintain. That is the purpose we'll be using. Okay, done. We created project. Now, as a just we say for example, what is the status of the project? Not started. Here you can see this icon. The status represents not started. Now you are going to start working on the project, so you have to set the status as a and work on we started working in progress and all. So in this case what you can do is, if you want to change the status of the project, or if you want to assign this project to other members, or else if you want to change the start dates or finish date or anything, any information, or if you want to change the project name, etc., just click on edit tab. Just click on this edit tab. It will open up the definition. So now you can change the project name, or else you can assign this project to other employee who is going to handle this project. You may change this the start and the finish date, and here you can change the status. Since we started working on the project, you can set the status as project status is in progress. Project is assigned to one user. Let's treat as that user is project manager or employee. That employee is a project manager. Then save and close. Now you can, if anybody look at this project, they can understand this is already started in progress. And say for example, now what I am going to do is, I want to assign define ledger. I want to assign define ledger. What is the define ledger? This is task list. Ledger creation I want to assign to specific user. So if you want to do that, select it. Here we have some section. Just click on that. Just will be selected. No, we cannot assign. Only one. Okay, project we can assign to only one. The reality that may happen, but in the system we can assign to only one. Okay, fine. If I want to assign this define ledger related activity, I want to give this responsibility to somebody to create the primary ledger and all. In that case, I can select it. Just click on assign task tab. Just click on assign tasks. Then here you can select you want to assign to which employee. So here just click on add. Okay, just click on add. Say I want to assign to this to user called as winners. Say apply and say done and say save. Okay, please mute somebody. Okay, just I'm doing that. So now define. Okay, so define ledger task list assigned to user called as winners. Okay, now we'll go and see. You just click on this. Okay, now you can see that task list related all tasks are assigned to user called as winners. Now this user or this employee is responsible to complete all these activities. Say for example, user completed some setup. So for example, manage secondary ledgers. Say user created secondary ledger. So now user has to update the status, means consultant. Generally here will be assigned to consultants. So in that case, what user can do is they can click on this status icon. Once they complete the setup, it got refreshed. Okay, just click on this implementation project task tab. It will display whatever the project is assigned to this user. Just click on this, it will open up. Okay, and we are talking about financials, and within the financials, common application configuration, and we are talking about define ledgers. Again, you can just click on define accounting options. Okay, done. Now say for example this winners employee or winners user already completed activity called as creating secondary ledger. He created secondary ledger. In that case what we can do is against this task just you can click on the status icon and the consultant can set the status. These are the different status: in progress, completed, execution, frozen, and completed with error. Okay, these are the different statuses and all. Okay, just completed, execution, frozen, and all. Just all whatever. Just how uh, what is the status of the task? You can set it up. Okay. Say for example, already completed. I can just select the name as status as a completer. Here you may write as some notes. You can comment on the setup of completion and all. Save and close. Now the same will get updated. Once system is getting updated, this will be rolled up to the project as a percentage of completion. Okay, this will be rolled up to the project as a percentage completion. In the same way, if user is going to complete this task also, just you can click on this and you can select task as in progress. Say this user is working on this task activity. So this is in progress icon. Or else what you can do is if you want to change any status, select the task instead of clicking on this. Here above also we have a relevant function. Say edit status. Just click on edit status. Already we selected task. Click on edit status. Here you can set the status as a completed. So there is no control on the status. Say for example, here for these two tasks I set the status as a completed, but because of the status, system is not going to have any control on the process. Even the status can be not started or in progress or completed or frozen, whatever it may be. Okay, what system will do is frozen in the sense here finalization. That's what we have to understand. So what system will do is system will allow you to work on it. So you created one secondary ledger, you may want to create one more secondary ledger. Okay, so that's how just it is for status tracking purpose, just for tracking purpose. Okay, see here, I'm going to click on done. Here project level you can see how many tasks are total, how many tasks. So 1375 unassigned tasks we have in our TCS implementation project. Only 38 tasks are completed and our project status is in progress. And here you can see the flow diagram. So how much in the entire project, how much is completed, you can see these are the different. Not started, how much percentage. Okay, in progress, how much percentage, you can see here the graphical representation pie chart. Okay, and here how much percentage completed and execution frozen and submitted and completed with error, completed the warning. These and all you can see here this icon indications and all color indications. So when we are working on the project, the project manager can get complete view on the project progress and the status of the project. Okay, accordingly they can take the better decisions for further progress of work on that. So this is how this project creation will be useful. Now when you talk about setup part and all, then we can, once the project is created within the scope and all, we can start working on the setups and all. Okay, before we start with before we do the setups and all, there is one more activity which need to be completed by us, that I'll be covering after some time, because by the time we'll get some idea and all, I'll show you that section, then I'll talk about that. But in the sequence that will come as a first, before any setup you do, that comes as a first setup, but that I'll be covering later. That will be easy for us to understand. Okay, so this is how we can create the implementation project, and we can assign the project to manager, and we can assign the particular offering. See, entire offering I can assign to some employee or user. I'm selecting procurement or say financials. I want to assign this to particular employee. So I just click on assign tasks. Okay, and here search for the employee. So here we have a employee called as Lakshman. Just click on Say apply. Say done. The entire financials offering assigned to employee called as Lakshman. Done. Now if you just open, so since I am owner for this financial implementation, I can set the status at offerings level also. So in progress, just say I just started working on it. So you can see the complete all the task in progress since I set it offering level. Okay, and here you can see here these specific tasks already assigned employee called as winners. Again, all I assign to all entire offering I'll assign to Lakshman also. Now system is showing this task is assigned to winners as well as one more. To know the one more, just place the cursor here. You can see Lakshman means this. To complete this task, this winners and Lakshman, these two employees are responsible. But when you talk about project level, we cannot assign multiple. Okay, one will assign. Here task level, you can associate this task with the multiple employees to complete that activity. Okay, so this is how just we can manage this. Fine. So now when we talk about setup part, so we'll see now. So how to create the first, we'll start with the setups. We'll see how to create the. So when you talk about implementation process and all, first we'll start here with the calendar creation. What we are going to do is we are going to create the calendar. In EBS, what we do to create the calendar, first we have to define the create period type, right? We'll create the period type, or else let me just take into that only. In EBS, what we do first, we'll create the period type. By using the period type, we'll create accounting calendar, EBS. When you talk about Fusion, okay, when you talk about Fusion, and in Fusion, we no need to create. This create period type is not required. We no need to create separate period type. And in EBS, how do we create accounting calendar? That is a completely manual process. We'll give the accounting calendar name, the period that belongs to which account period type, and what would be the what I can say, the reporting year, and belongs to which quarter, which number, what number, period number, and when it starts, when it ends, finally what is the period name we have to enter. That's how we have to enter, or else we may just create the calendar by using the kind of data loader or some other front-end tools and all. So but Fusion accounting calendar creation is automation. You no need to enter any periods, just you have to give some specifications. Then once you say create, then system will create the calendar. In the next year, if you want to add the periods, just click on next year. It will add the periods for next year. That's how they simplified the calendar creation in Fusion. Means that is a kind of good announcement they did for calendar. Now we are not going to just enter periods and all to create the calendar. Just give the specification what frequency you require, monthly or quarterly or hourly or daily, whatever. You can give the frequency. How many periods you want to create, just give the number. Then you need adjusting period, means when you require, in the starting or ending, or starting and ending, or middle and ending. Okay, this is how you can give the specification. Once you say okay, system will create the accounting calendar. Okay, we'll see how to create the accounting calendar now. Okay, so any activity you are going to do, that you have to do from your project. So once already project is created, that is assigned to, automatically system will assign to the current user, from which user you are creating. If you want to change, you can change. Okay, Once you create with the project, so just again I'm just refreshing this, go to user and click on setup and maintenance. Then you can see this user is associated with the which project. If you click on implementation projects, you can see your implementation project, you are working for which project and all. Okay, fine. So see here, now it is updating the status, not started and in progress. Okay, this section is the red color represents is all in progress, and this blue color represents not started status. Okay, 43 in not status means 43 percentage of task in not started process status, and 57 percentage of task out of our project in progress status. Okay, you can see that. Okay, you can go to user, just click on setup and maintenance, then select tab called as implementation projects, then click on implementation project. Okay, done. Now what we want to create, we want to create the accounting calendar. Just you can type here task search field we have. Okay, here I'll give you the name as, actual name is, task name is manage accounting calendar. If you know the name, you can just type full name, otherwise say accounting calendar. Just give the name as accounting calendar, then click on go. Now it will display that list. So here see, they give an option. The accounting calendar you can create from the financial offering, or else from procurement offering also the task is available, and same task is available from Fusion Accounting Hub. That means the future is same, but navigation, the access you can take from procurement offering or financial offering or Fusion Accounting Hub offering. From anywhere you can do it. Since we are talking about financials, just click on task called as manage accounting calendar against the financial offering. Just click on this. Okay, so system is showing this manage accounting calendar task we have under which task list, define calendars. If you want to know the complete navigation from offering level, what you can do is, from where we navigated to this point, means directly we are searching and we are taking, but if you want to see the complete navigation where you want to do through manually, you want to go with the navigation, just click on this up task arrow mark. Now it will show the complete navigation, how we navigated here. First we have to go to financial offering, there we have to select define common application configuration for financials, then select define enterprise structures for financials, then select define financial reporting structure. There we have a define calendar, under calendar we have a manage accounting calendar. This is the navigation to create. Instead of taking that navigation, just I am selecting directly. If you want to go with that, so you can just try in this way. Just what we can do is just click on project, and first what we have to do, we have to select financials. Let's expand financials. Then what we have to select, define common application configuration. Just you have to select this. Within this system shown the navigation, we have to select define enterprise structure for financials. Again under this, here we have to select, okay, you have to expand define financial reporting structure. Here you have to click on define calendars. There we have task called as manage accounting calendars. Instead of taking this much lengthy navigation, directly you can search in the task field, then directly it will display. Now to create accounting calendar, what you could do is just click on this go to task icon. Okay, just click on go to task icon. So now here you can see all existed calendars. These all are calendars which are created by other users. To create our calendar, just click on create icon. Okay, Just click on create icon. Okay, here they provide a description also. What is all about create accounting calendar. Okay, see here, enter a start date and a full year before the start date of the year of the first transaction period of your ledger. Transaction cannot be, I mean, translation cannot be run for the first defined period to your ledger calendar. Okay, just what they are saying, just as per our requirement, you can create and you can give the start date. Based on that, automatically system will create the accounting calendar they are telling. Just I'll give the name for our accounting. We are not creating any period type here like EBS. I'm going to give the period name as, accounting calendar name as TCS accounting calendar. I'm giving the short name. It won't accept uh, this long name and all. The short name only, it will accept limited characters. Here I can write TCS accounting calendar for USA. And start date. When you talk about US financial year starts Jan, ends in the December. So our accounting calendar also we have to create by following the country financial year. So what would be the start date for this? Just click on this date picker. So or else directly you can write the format. It follows first month. Here say example, month, date and year. So what is the current financial year for US? So first means this is John 1st 2016. Current financial year starts with this date. And what period frequency we require? So there are different period frequencies we have. Just we are going to use monthly. So in EBS this we create as a period type that will assign, but here you don't need to do that. Now here you can give separator. When system is going to just create the period name, say for example John 2016. So between John and 2016, how it has to separate. Okay, the separate we have to provide. Normally we'll always generally go with the hyphen only, right? Say John hyphen 16 or 2016. That's how we'll be giving. And what should be the period format? So this is the default format it is providing. So month 3 characters, year in 2 characters, calendar year. If you select this, this is how system will create the period name. Or else we have your own choices. And if you select like this is how system is going to create the period name. But generally just the best practice normally which we use is this is the format. This is the format. I think this is the first one. Yes. So this is how you can use. Now here we have option for adjusting period frequency. Here you can specify if you need any adjusting period to record adjustment transaction at the time of year closing, you can select. So here we have a different options. Okay, once at beginning of the year and once at ending of the year, and once in the mid of the year and once at year end, and once in the mid of the year and twice at year end, once at year end, twice at year end, none and other. These are the different options. Apart from this, if you want to set something else, you can select other. Accordingly system will allow you to specify. So what I'm going to do is the general practice would be once at year end. I selected. Now if I say next, automatically system will create our accounting calendar. We don't need to enter any periods. So we taken monthly. Monthly means system know very well 12 periods will be there in the calendar, and the period starting, the calendar year is starting, financial year is starting from 1st Jan 2016 means it will start with the Jan period and it will create up to December period, 12 periods, and the 13th period it will be creating as a adjusting period. Okay, because we selected adjusting is 1, 12 plus 1, 13 periods. After giving this criteria, after selecting this specification, giving specification, just click on next. System created accounting calendar. Okay, system created accounting calendar, and the last period 13th period, see here 13th period system taken as a adjusting period. That is the system is marking that period as a adjusting. What we have to do is just say save. Done. Okay, accounting calendar is created. Now say for example you want to add the periods for next year also. So now we are in the end of 2016. Take this example. Now again you have to add the periods for next year. In that case what we have to do is, just now we created, right? So you cannot see the tab called as next year and all. If you want to see that, say save and close. Again reopen, the system will populate the tab. Not required, just directly click on this, it will open our accounting calendar whatever we created. Now you can see here a tab called as add year. If you click on add year, again it will add 2017 all the periods. Again if I click on add year, it will add 2018 periods. This is how system will automate accounting calendar and periods creation. Okay, so this is the best practice, just the best improvement we have compared to EBS accounting calendar definition. And say save and close. If you have any questions on this, please.
Can we change anything here?
Yeah, we can change, but it's recommended. So before you start using for transaction process. Okay, because this is standard, it's not specific to company and all. It's all about country specific, we know. So any changes, generally there won't be any change requirement here. There won't be any requirement of change. Okay.
Only I think the period name of the adjustment period we have to change.
Yeah,
Something like adjustment.
change also manually you cannot do anything, that you have to decide at the time of you start with the solution. When you are doing the solutioning, you have to decide on that. So if you think in future you may require 2 adjusting periods, better you can at the time of implementation only, even you may require 1, better you can go with the 2. Then 1 will be there ideally. Whenever you require you can use it. But generally 1 would be enough for adjusting.
Because what I mean to say is we can
Yeah.
change the period name.
We can
Instead of 13 December 16, we can make it as adjustment 16.
Okay, I got your point. You want to change the period name. Yes, you can do it. You can do it. Yes, I can write the name as a adjusting December. I can write it. That we can do. Anytime you can do that. Fine. That's all. Just save and close. Yeah, please.
Yeah, next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we define the physical year calendar also?
Yes, we can define. Only the point is start date you have to give as physical year, say for India.
First,
What start date you have to give? 1st April 2016. Then it will create from April to next year March. That's all. The period frequency should be monthly. Then it will create automatically. Anything you can create, whatever you create in the EBS. The same process, but here just you have to give the specifications. Okay.
okay, thanks.
Yeah, fine. Just please mute yourself. See, somebody sometimes. Yeah, great. Fine, done. Now we'll see other pointers. Enabling currency. So once period type is created, okay, to track the transactions belongs to which period and which date and all. Okay, we know the calendar will be useful for accounting purpose. So now when you're recording the transaction, we know the amounts whatever we are entering, that has to be specified with the specific currency. So for that reason, which currency we are going to use, the currency we have to enable in EBS. We know very well what are the currency you require. So local currency, or in which other currencies you will be recording the transaction, which we call as foreign currencies, you have to enable in the system in EBS. Coming to Fusion, by default all currencies are enabled. Which currencies you don't require, you have to go and disable it. It's a quite reverse activity. In EBS, whatever we require, we have to go and enable. But in Fusion, by default, in production environment, fresh environment, you can see all currencies are enabled mode. So which currencies you don't want to use, just go on to disable all those currencies. So finally, whatever already enabled, those only you can use it. Anyway, let's see where you can just disable that activity. Activity wise, you can take as a enable currency. Okay, just say save and close. Then click on done. We'll go back to our project related tasks. So here we have a task list called as define currencies, and here we have a task called as manage currencies. Otherwise, if you don't know the navigation and all, directly you can search from here. Simply you can search manage currencies. Just click on go. So currencies you can enable or disable from these different offerings. Anyway, we just, our area is finance, so against the finance offering, what are the tasks we have called as task manage currencies? I'm just clicking on that. Just hit that link, and here you can see the task name. Just click on go to task icon. By default, all currencies are enabled. Now, which currency we want to review, verify whether that is already enabled or not? Say USD. Just click on search. You can see the currency is enabled. Okay. If you want to create new currencies, possible, even EBS are here. Say for example, there is a case where there is one country is going to be, say for example, that there could be some bifurcation as a separate country in some geography area and all. In that case, so that kind of cases, you can just, Oracle is allowing you to create the currency here. But again, there will be case as a solution for the country, whether Oracle is offering or not. If that is a tax-based country and all, that's a different story. But here we have option available to create the new currency also. You can click on this add row, and it will give you the option. Here you can give the currency code, currency name, the description, and you can enable, and it is effect start date from which date and all you can give it. Okay, cancel, say cancel. That's all. So from here we can enable the currencies, but basically no need to enable in the Fusion. All currencies are enabled. Only the job which we may do is disabling the currencies which we don't require. Yeah, please.
Yeah, Lakshman, I have a question. So how to disable multiple currencies at a time? For example, I want to disable some 5 to 10 currencies.
One by one. We have to do one by one.
So we don't know, even we don't have the list of currencies which are already enabled in Oracle, right? Even to do one by one. We don't know, it may be 100 or 200.
Yes, correct. In that case, only the simple solution we have is just we'll search in the Google, we'll take the list and we'll do one by one. That is only the manual process need to be done by user. Okay, we don't have any ready-made solution for that. Or else simply you can ignore them, no problem. But it will be coming in the wherever. When you are doing the setups, you'll be getting in the LOB, but when you are recording the transactions, you won't come. Reason you are not going to process the relevant transaction in the foreign currencies.
But this currencies is going to be the primary, right? Even whenever a transaction, any guys are processing invoices at any place, still anybody can process it transaction at any currency if you enable all the currencies, right?
No.
Any control to...
Yes, there is a control until unless you set the rates and all, you cannot use any currency which is a foreign currency.
Okay, at least we can give the rates. That's a control. Only wherever we have a rates, it will allow us to put a transaction to that currency. Right?
Exactly. Which currencies you are recording the transaction will set the rates. Those one will be coming in the transaction flow. System will support.
Okay.
Otherwise,
great. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Can we define for different business units different currencies?
Different, currencies are not specific to business unit. Currencies are specific to ledger, primary ledger. Through primary ledger, currency will be connected to BU, business unit. We'll see that process.
I mean to say, if the business unit is in Europe and the other business unit in USA, their dollar and here some other currency, right? So how you define that?
In that case, we'll create the two primary ledgers. One is with euro, one is with the dollar. That ledgers will be connecting with the respective BUs. That's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah, Lakshman, I think in fact anyway here somebody raised that question about the BU.
Please.
I don't know, is it the right time to ask or not? Can you just spare some 5 minutes at least to understand the hierarchy? Like for example, example of
there is hierarchy. There is hierarchy. I will explain in detail level. I have seen that.
Okay. Okay.
Just what I'm talking is basic level setups. Once we are going to start,
no problem then. If it is there in your scope, no problem. I'll wait for that.
That is there. Now
No.
only the point is whatever we are discussing, if you are getting, that is enough. I'll take care of that.
Okay, that's great. Sure. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Any other queries? Fine. If no, like, we'll proceed to next step. Okay, done.
I have one more actually.
Yeah.
Not related to this. We have assigned the task to Winners and Lakshman, right?
Correct.
These Lakshmans are created in HCM and Winners also in HCM.
Correct. Or it can be created
Right.
in IDM also. From anywhere the user can be created, not an issue. There is no control on the process. It will allows any user or any employee to create. Even, see, for the task we assign Lakshman and Winners. Okay, the person called A, please, we are getting lot of noise, please. Okay, the person called ABC also can come and perform the task, even the task is not assigned to that person. There is no control, just it's all about to track the status and progress. No control on that. But if any user is going to trying to do the setup, the user required privileges to complete that activity. That point also I'll show you. So for example, here we have, I'll show you that, which is that relevant setup. I'll show you in that case. If you have any other queries, please. Any other queries? If no, we'll proceed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lakshman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, please.
So to perform the task, is it mandatory to assign any user
No, not mandatory.
or not?
No. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fine. So fine. So simple point here to put it in very simple way. If you want to create any business transaction, definitely you have to mention the date within the transaction, right? On which date you are performing the transaction. It can be any activity, and you have to write the description, and you have to mention the amounts. These are the three key elements for any transaction. When you are creating any business transaction, and which date that is created, and or else the transaction belongs to which period, and again description means the transaction belongs to which company, which department, related to which account, nothing but activity, and maybe this is happened in which location, or else this transaction belongs to which project, if company is doing activities in terms of projects. Okay, if organization is a project driven organization, if they want to track each and every business transaction belongs to which project, or else the transaction belongs to which product and all. If you want to know that you have to write every transaction level, you have to write the detailed description. Okay, means description talks about detailed information of the transaction on the date, with so and so amount, what we did, which company did, which department is did, in which location the transaction happened, what exactly they did, sales or purchase, if sales, the what sales, if purchase, which purchases. So these three elements are very important. So to capture the date, already we created calendar. In the calendar we have all the dates and periods now. Already we created calendar. Okay, to identify the amounts or in which currency, we already enabled currency. Of course, currency already enabled. What are the amounts we are going to enter? Say for example, on the so and so date I purchase something. If I write 1000, what is the 1000? That is INR or USD or GBP or etc. No information, right? So for every amount whatever you mention in the system as a transaction process, you have to select the currency. So already currency also ready. That means to track the date, calendar is ready. To specify the amount, currency is ready. Means calendar and currencies are ready. Okay, calendar and currencies are ready. Now we have to take care of description section. Say for example, you want to, in every transaction, you want to capture company name, department name, the transaction belongs to which account, and the transaction is happening in which location also. If you say company can be one that can be there in the different locations also. If you take this simple example, so that means in the system you have to maintain your all companies, because every transaction you want to relate it to company. You have to maintain all the departments, because in every transaction you want to capture the department. So what are the activities you'll be doing? Those all accounts you have to maintain in the system. In which locations you are doing the business, you may have to maintain all the locations also in the system. To maintain these company's information, how many companies you have, how many departments you have, how many accounts you have, and how many locations you are operating the business. To maintain all this set of data, you will be creating the system concept called as chart of accounts. Okay. Now calendar and currencies are ready to capture the date and to give amount specification. Now we have to create the chart of accounts. Okay, we have to create the chart of accounts. So in the chart of accounts, company is one segmentation, separate data. Department is separate segmentation. Okay, so this is how we'll be creating as a different segments. We'll see when we are doing that. Okay, I think I don't know how many people are just new to this and all. Fine. Just this level, just we can discuss. If you have any understanding required and all, please ask me. We'll discuss. There are many people who know very well about these concepts, who have experience. So we have to create the chart of account, which will support for transaction description to track the details of transaction. Finally, which will be useful for reporting purpose in the company, for internal reporting or external reporting. Okay. So this is the point to understand here. Now we don't have a scope of discussing very detailed level because it's not kind of very scratch level. The expectation, somewhat this application and all, but still I'm just trying to give you some basic points. If you need more clarification on that, just let me know. We'll discuss, no problem. Okay. So to capture every transaction related description, we require the chart of accounts. Now to create the chart of accounts, what we have to do is, in EBS, how do we create the chart of accounts? First, we'll give the structure name. Structure name. Say structure name is TCS accounting structure. Okay, TCS accounting structure. Better I'll take this information in the sheet. Okay, we created calendar to capture the date and period for every transaction, and we have currency enabled, which we can use to specify the balance or belongs to which currency. Now we have to create the chart of accounts. So through chart of accounts, we can capture the description of the transaction. The transaction belongs to which company, which department, which account, which location, or which product, or which process, or which service, etc. Okay, which LOB, line of business, etc., etc. You can use it. Okay, fine. In EBS, how to create the chart of accounts? First, we'll create the structure name. Example for structure name is I'm taking as TCS accounting structure. Sorry, there is some cursor is getting misplaced. Okay. So under structure, what we'll do, we'll create segments. Segments examples, nothing but your company data you call as one segment, and department related data is another segment. Means company related data we are doing the segmentation. This is a company data, this is a department data, this is account data, and location. These are all we call as, which will be part of the transaction. The elements we call as the segments. Company. After creating the segments, for each segment we have to maintain the segment related information. For company, we have to maintain the which companies we have, those we call as segment values. For a department, what are the values we'll create? See, company, department, account, location, we are calling the segments. So for under this, what are the values we are going to maintain? Those are segment values. If you want to maintain segment values, say for example, I want to list out companies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There will be some name and all. Just I'm giving a high level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to maintain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 under this company segment, the system to maintain those company names, there is one object which need to be prepared in the system that we call as value set. That means company called as company, segment called as company. Under this, if you want to maintain any company related information, we have to maintain the value set. With the help of value set only, you can maintain the company values under company segment. If you want to maintain the how many departments you have, under department segment, you require separate value set for department. With the help of company value set, we'll maintain the company values under company segment. With the help of department value set, we'll maintain the values under department segment. With the help of account value set, will maintain the values under account segment. With the help of location value set, will maintain the locations under will maintain the locations under location segment. That means for each segment to maintain the values, we require value set. Once value set is ready, you can create the segment values. That can be company name or department name or account name or location name. These all we call as segment values. This is how we'll be creating. The EBS first will give the organization structure, means these companies, departments, accounts and locations are belongs to which company, that will be giving as the title. The group name, or else we may call it as TCS accounting, Tata accounting structure, group company name generally. Here just the group name already created by somebody, just that is the reason I am taking just TCS only. We'll to create the chart of accounts, what we have to do? First we have to create the structure name, means accounting structure. Then segments, which segments we require to track, which elements we want to track as a part of transaction. Then to hold all these segment related values, for every segment we require value set. With the help of a value set only, you can maintain the segment values for any segment. Once value set is ready, then with the help of value set, you can create the segment values, so that the segment values will be under respective segment. So this is the process we'll follow. To create all these in general ledger application, we have a feature called as accounting flex field, right? We have a feature called as accounting key flex field. By using accounting key flex field feature, you can create all these put together, we call as chart of accounts. That means chart of accounts we are going to create within the accounting key flex field feature, which is a part of general ledger. In general ledger application, means here of course we are calling as an option. General ledger application, we have a feature called as accounting key flex field. By using the accounting key flex field, we can create the chart of accounts. Creating chart of account is nothing but creating the structure name, and creating the segments and values, value set and segment values. In EBS, what we do is, for segments, that we'll see when we are doing that, we'll discuss. Fine. So this is the process we have to follow. Coming to EBS, coming to Fusion, what we have to do is, before you create all these, first we have to create here sequence wise. First we'll create the value set. It's a mandatory, you have to create the value set first. First we have to create the value set, but here after structure, then we'll create segments. After creating segments, we'll create the value set, then we'll just add the segment values. But in the fusion point of view, in case of fusion, fusion application, first what we have to do is, we have to create the value set. Then we can create the accounting structure. Say for example, TCS accounting structure. Under TCS accounting structure, we can create the segments, and then you can maintain the, while you are creating the segments, you can map the value sets to that. Then we'll create the values, means segment values. Segment values. So similar to EBS, but sequence is slightly different in Fusion, because in EBS value set is not mandatory for any segment, but generally in the process wise it's a compulsory, but system point of view optional. That is the reason first we'll create the structure, then we'll create segments. After segment we'll create the value sets. Those value sets will be mapping with the respective segment, then we'll create the segment values. But in the Fusion it's a mandatory, first we have to create the value set, then we'll be just creating the structure name, then we'll create the segments, then segment values. Finally here we have to create the structure instance. Here just, this is actually accounting structure, or else chart of account structure. Fine. Here after completing this in Fusion as additional setup, we have to complete the structure instance. We have to create the structure instance. When we are creating, we'll understand that what is the purpose, how it works and that. Okay, to create the chart of accounts in Fusion, to capture the details of transaction, description of the transaction, these we have to create. Value set, what is the purpose of value set? It will hold the values. It can be company values or department values or location and all. So when you are going to maintain all these values, that falls under which company. Again, the values should be maintained under which segment, whether those values are company values or department values or account location, that we have to specify the segments. And for each segment, we have to can maintain the segment values with the help of value sets. Then finally, these definitions all we call as, this combination of all these definitions we call as chart of accounts. So against the chart of account, we have to create the structure instance. So chart of account also we call a chart of account structure. Okay, here against the chart of account structure, we have to create the structure instance also. We'll see how the process works, how we can create in the system environment. Let's take simple example. Okay, when we are recording the transaction, say our requirement is we want to capture the transaction belongs to which company, which department, which account, which location, or else let's ignore location enough, because every time when we are recording the transaction it will become big task if you have multiple segments and all. Multiple. Okay, so company, department, account and all, we have all this. Fine. We'll discuss. There are some other points also to add to this. We'll do that. For first, once we complete this, we'll do those things. Okay. Now, for 3 segments we have. For 3 segments, if you want to maintain the values, 3 value sets we require. Now, what we have to do? We have to create the 3 value sets. Reason, we are going to track 3 elements for each business transaction. So now in the system, we are going to create company value set, which will be holding all the company related values. Department value set, which will be holding department values, and account value set, it will be holding all company accounts related information. Okay, these 3 value sets first we'll create, then we'll create the structure, the enterprise name, nothing but structure. Okay, and segments. Okay, these 3 will create as segments, and then we'll create the segment values and the structure instance. All this will create and all. We'll see how to do it. Okay, fine. The task wise you can say like create value set. Let's do it. It's already 10:10. Okay, fine. We'll see in the tomorrow session. If you have any doubts on today's session, you can ask me.
Yeah, hi Lakshman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lakshman, in that case, in e-business, the maximum segment will be 35. And what is the number in Fusion?
No, 30. 30. In EBS 30. Here also same 30.
Okay, same. Okay.
30. There is some other points need to be discussed. When we are defining, we'll discuss that. Because there, whatever we call as flex field qualifiers and segment qualifiers, the naming convention they changed, and they added some additional qualifiers also. That points we'll discuss.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any other queries on today's session? Fine. Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Yesterday's session and today session recorded stuff will be sending today definitely. I'll send after this session. Maybe like after this session, it may take hardly 30 minutes time to convert into the relevant format and all. Once that is done, I'll be sending. Today I'll be receiving this 2 videos. Yesterday I sent today. Fine. Okay, fine, done. If you don't have any just queries, we can wind up the session. And just I want to mention one more point here. So by tomorrow, just we are expecting to just settle that fee and all. I mean, just we are expecting the fee dues to clear and all. Who are interested, who want to continue and all. So most probably from tomorrow, just we'll be sending the meeting link for the guys who are going to just make the payments. Okay, fine. If you have any other queries, please, then we'll close the session for today. Fine then. Okay. Thank you. Good night all. I will make the payment base out to vendor. Just Shubhash, just you can speak to that guy just because I cannot make a note of these points and all. Just you can speak to him.